is not a stupid question. It's a phenomenal question. And the answer is yes. Every single time.
So he's right. Well, let's talk about a few things here and how viruses behave in the middle of a pandemic. It's just evolutionary biology. So when you have vaccines that do not prevent infection, but reduce, we'll call them disease-preventing vaccines or preventing you from serious illness, what happens, let me show you this article. I'll explain what I'm talking about. It's basically what it's saying. Imperfect vaccination can enhance the transmission of highly virulent pathogens.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just stop the video there because I think we get the point. A couple things you should know. First of all, that study you're citing is about chickens. It's about viruses and vaccines, yes, in chickens. It goes on to say that it is not and should not be used to talk about humans. It says that in that study. And you'd know that if you actually read the study rather than just pulling out one random sentence from the abstract and using that to bolster your whole argument, which is what Joe Rogan did a couple of weeks ago with that same study. So we know where you got it from. It's a bad source, my guy. Second of all, you mentioned how it's been cited so many times. Next time, read those citations. Check what other studies are talking about this one. Because if you did, you'd see that these are subsequent modern studies that are proving that one wrong. They're not using this study to further the discussion. They're using that study to say, hey, here's this weird thing about chicken vaccinations. Turns out it doesn't make any sense. So it's a bad study that isn't even about humans. You have to actually read these things to know that. I don't think that you're going to learn any science from me. Frankly, I don't think that you're interested in science at all because you have your pronouns in your bio as attack helicopter. So clearly you don't actually care how science works. But just a word of advice from me to you. If you actually want to learn about this stuff, go buy a microbiology or immunology or virology textbook. You can get a used one on Amazon for pretty cheap. Don't get your medical advice and your science education from a comedian with a podcast. Because if you do, you're going to end up making TikToks where you stitch an actual evolutionary biologist to try to talk about how you think evolutionary biology works, and you're going to be very wrong, and you're going to end up looking very foolish.